I don't think I'm going to need so many chairs, but let's start off here. Is it better standing up or sitting down? I don't know what's easier. But okay, looks like it's a fairly small screen, but hopefully you can see. I'll give it a couple of seconds for people to sit down. Right, so first of all, I wanted to say this is going to be a little bit strange in the presentation. I'll talk about our infrastructure, I'll talk about what we do, Nebius in general. Then I'll go through some case studies and discuss what has been done, the magic that a lot of the scientists and researchers and healthcare professionals are doing. And I'll leave maybe 5 minutes at the end for questions. It's only a 20-minute talk, so we'll get started. So what is Nebius? And many of you have seen our stand. If you haven't, come by, have a chat right at the end of the hall here. Nebius, and the name Nebius, comes from the two words, nebula and the Mobius strip. Those two show the infinite capacity and infinite availability that we have within infrastructure, and also the vision that we have for AI. And that's how we got Nebius. Hopefully you can see this at the back, but basically, what sets us apart from a lot of the other GPU cloud providers is that we're not a hyperscaler, we're not a neo cloud, we're somewhere in between. And I'll explain why. So hyperscalers, typically when you want to use them, they tend to be less flexible, they have the vendor lock in place, they have the capacity that is required for the enterprise. They give a lot of credits for startups, and look, if you look at egress fees, if you look at transferring your data, sometimes you feel a bit caved in. They don't offer the flexibility that's required with the 21st century AI use. Neoclouds, on the other hand, tend to be very good at providing GPUs, usually in bare metal, not very good at providing managed services, not very good at providing the full stack approach. This is what we are really happy to say, that our customers come to us because they love the full stack approach that we have. We have the managed Kubernetes, managed flow that you would get from a hyperscaler without all of the requirements of having long contracts, without having this access to the lowest GPUs. You can have the greatest and best of all. We are NASDAQ listed as a company, one of only two neocloud-like companies that is NASDAQ listed. We are vertically integrated, so we work with everything. We are backwards compatible with a lot of the hyperscaler solutions. We have S3 bucket support and so on. And we are recognized by the industry with numerous awards. We've got 2 of the top 40 supercomputers in the world ranked. This is all independent ranking. And what we want to do is basically bring AI to the global footprint. So we are a Dutch-based, Amsterdam headquartered company, headquartered in the European Union, but we do have an expanding throughput in the US, Asia, Middle East as well. So these are just some of the data centers that we have. We are, able to provide the latest and greatest from NVIDIA. We work with them very closely. And for healthcare and life science, we're able to tailor this even better. So again, I think the slides are a little bit off from what I sent, but never mind. When you're looking at price versus cost and performance versus cost, this is very important, because when you are going for high training, high intense workloads, you want to make sure that you are not spending a lot of money on something that you can get the same amount of GPUs and the same work from elsewhere. We are able to do this a lot more flexibly in how we manage the GPUs, in how we scale up. And we understand that in biotech and healthcare, you have a base amount of GPUs that you require, and then you want to do a burst capacity for 1 month or 2 months, and then slow down again, look at the data, and go up and down as you need. So not a lot of players out there offer this flexibility, and we really, want to emphasize that you don't need to buy the car with us. You have this Uber approach. You use what you need when you need it. Don't use it when you don't need it. Don't pay for it when you don't use it, and just continue in that fashion. So it's a simple environment. You don't need 6 certifications from us to be able to get a cluster up and running. We want to make sure that the user interface is as easy as possible to follow, and you don't need to be an expert in AI and artificial intelligence and machine learning to get it up and running. You have to be an expert in science and the technology that you want to use it for. So Nebius, these are just some of the keywords that we say. With us, you don't have to do convoluted processes. You can get your products faster to market. The performance that we offer and a lot of the GPUs that we get from NVIDIA are all managed by us. We have the data centers completely managed by us. Every rack, every server is done in-house. The reliability and resilience, so we have the highest performing GPUs, but also the most reliable ones. And the ease of use and enterprise grade level comfortable with it. So in general, we say we provide a cloud platform, we provide the hardware, we provide the data center environments that needs to scale up to thousands of GPUs, we can do that, and then the AI expertise in-house. This might, it's probably a bit too small to see, but all this means is that we are offering a full stack solution. We have managed Kubernetes, we have managed Slurm, we have some specific tailored solutions for people who are using Slurm on Kubernetes. We have DStack, we have MLOps toolkits. There's a lot of things that go behind the scenes of a GPU, and you're not just getting access to the bare metal with us. So in terms of healthcare and life science, and these are the ones on the right that you'll see, we're working with Genesis Therapeutics, Converge Bio, we're working with Quantori, some of the academic universities. So in Stanford, we're working with Professor Lekong, working on some incredible work within the pharma environment, UCSF, just to name a few. Within life science and healthcare, the way that we break it down is there's drug discovery, drug development, there's genomics and multiomics, and then health tech is med tech, biotech, everything to do with MRI, X-ray, CT scanning, everything that includes AI within that. And I'll go into a couple of case studies here, but what I'll say is we get a lot of people questioning AI in healthcare and life science. They're saying, is this going to replace my job? Is this going to replace what I'm doing? And an example is a radiologist. So a lot of the work that a radiologist does involves very repetitive tasks. When you're looking at an image and you're looking for a break or a tear on a scan, and you see that, and when you are facing 100 or 200 scans in 30-minute time slot, sometimes you miss those things. And with AI and the power of these technologies, what you're doing is you're creating an assistant who is able to help to alleviate those pains. So we don't say that AI is going to replace the radiologist, but AI is going to replace the radiologist who doesn't use AI and doesn't incorporate AI into the field. Because what it'll do is it'll help them make less mistakes. Agentic AI has been one of the topics of 2025, reducing the workload on a very, very intense healthcare system within Europe, within Asia. Everybody's facing the difficulties of doctors and nurses being available. Having a lot of those automated processes in place to replace the repetitive tasks is going to be key. Within drug discovery and drug development, you're exponentially increasing the time of when you're taking a drug to market. And this is significant because you're reducing costs, but you're also saving lives much quicker, and you're targeting the drugs much quicker. So the first example here is Converge Bio. They're a group in Israel that we work with who create single-cell models looking at and identifying cancer oncology treatments. They have created a single-cell model on our infrastructure, which outcompeted and outbeats the Zuckerberg and Chen single-cell GPT model in terms of numbers and in terms of accuracy and prediction and so on. And this was done on H100s for a 2-week training round. Incredible work. They are working on reducing the pain and effort that it takes for a drug to come to market, and also the efficacy of a drug. They can virtually screen the drug before a patient is undergoing chemotherapy or treating for a tumor. That way they save the patient's life, but also they're able to reduce the stress. And I don't know if some of you have had friends or family who have gone through an oncological treatment. It's extremely painful and extremely really stressful for the family. It has a big burden for the hospital as well. And when you're going through the treatment, a lot of the time it's trial and error. And if we can reduce that in a virtual environment to say these medications are less likely to work and these ones are more likely to work, you're using AI to reduce the burden on the person and the family and the friends involved. So this is just one case with Converge. Simulacra AI are using our infrastructure for quantum chemistry research, and again, they are doing some incredible work on looking at materials and how they can be used within the environment to be able to promote and to accelerate drug development. And these group, they're working on out of London. It's very early startup environment. They've said that they're getting 90% faster in performance based on their experience with hyperscalers. And in terms of the model parameters, they're working on 100 million plus models. Going forward, they're going to be working on huge data sets, again, accelerating this work. Quantori is another group working on molecular generation. So this is very advanced work for 3D shapes and enhancing drug discovery for material design. Similar to what Simulacra are doing with quantum chemistry, this is more of the molecular generation and molecular chemistry work. And they are working with huge data sets, existing ones, and this is very useful for genomics. This is very useful for drug development and discovery. Their customers are pharma industry, so inadvertently they are developing these models to alleviate a lot of the work that is being done on internal R&D teams within pharma industry. So this is a group in Armenia, Yerevan and they're doing generative molecular drug design, but leveraging LLMs. So they're using existing models, they're using inference, they're using training to do a lot of the work that they need to do, but also in the language that is closer to them, in a language that is not just English speaking, but in this case Armenian, which is not a very commonly used language. So they are able to do this and outperform a lot of the previous work that has been done. Another two groups, and these are testimonials from Primamente and Genesis Therapeutics. Genesis Therapeutics are an example of a company who work with us, even though they are a hyperscaler. They work with us to cover a lot of the burst capacities that they require, that they cannot get out of a hyperscaler's environment. And they come to us and they say, we are looking for having much more flexible approach in the burst capacity, and that's what we do very well. They do AI-powered drug discovery. They are involved mostly in the Bay Area in the US, but they're working with a lot of the pharma companies as well. Primamente are a startup out of London who are working on neurodegenerative diseases. And neurodegenerative diseases require large data sets to understand the disease progression and to understand how we can look at the progression of and the decline of that individual. So they are creating incredibly large data sets. They're working on a 7 billion parameter model to train and fine-tune a lot of the wet lab data that they get. And they are, again, working with a lot of the pharma industry. They're working with a lot of customers in hospitals as well. So they're collecting data from Edinburgh, hospital data centers. They're working with groups all over Europe and in the United States. They're working on epigenetic model training. And just to conclude, there's different ways that you can work with a hyperscaler, different ways that you can work with us, and different ways that you can work with a classical neocloud. But with us, we say that you can get the best prices on a reserve capacity, but you don't have to have long-term contracts. You can have a pay-as-you-go capacity. You can have that easy, even if you need one node of GPUs, you can have that access immediately, even if it's some of the latest GPUs that are on the market. And then you can use that within your existing environment. If it's in parallel with a hyperscaler, you can have that backwards compatibility as you please and as you need. So this is my LinkedIn. If you want to connect, if you want to have a chat, I'm going to stop there because I'm on time. But if you have any questions, let me know. Maybe I'll be here for a few minutes just at the back. Or feel free to come back to my stand and have a chat. Thank you very much. Thank you.